stop looking at everybody else's life and focus on your goals and what your desire is for your kids and your family. If you don't have a vision, like I have a vision for my kids, but I also have a vision for myself. And in doing that, I know that my kids are going to reap the benefit.
Hi there, Soulful Mama. Welcome to the Soul Care Mom podcast. I'm Catherine Wild of soulcaremom.com. I'm a mom of 3 amazing kids, a soul care mom coach, and a yoga and meditation teacher. I've helped hundreds of women, and I'm here to help you feel calm and find your unshakable confidence as a mom. If you're ready to stop living in survival mode and you're ready to drop the mom guilt and overwhelm, this podcast is for you. Think of this as a lunch date with a girlfriend. Grab a cup of tea and get cozy. It's time to get honest and vulnerable and shift the traditional mindset around motherhood. Be sure to subscribe to be the first to know when new episodes are released. Get ready to grow and feel empowered as a mom. I'm here for you, Mama. Let's get started. Are you a stay-at-home mom that feels like you've lost your identity, lost yourself after becoming a mom? Know that you're not alone if you feel this way, and that it's possible for you to find your own identity no matter which season of motherhood you're in. Today on the Soul Care Mom podcast, my guest, Arieal Delotte-Jones, also lovingly known as Mom of Taj, shares how you can find your own identity after becoming a mom. You are not going to want to miss this powerful episode. Hi, I am so happy you're joining me today.
Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to be here.
Nice to meet you too. So I'm excited to chat with you all about how to find our identity again after becoming a mom, which is something that so many women struggle with, especially stay-at-home moms.
Yes. It's something that I struggle with. It's something that is very common. Now that we have social media, it's becoming more of a thing that people are expressing and kind of joining that commonality to show that, hey, everybody don't have it all together. And, there's this, this group of women who kind of like need to rediscover themselves, like who they are, what they like, now that they're in these motherhood roles. Because although we know we don't have a handbook, like it becomes evident that we don't have a handbook. We don't necessarily know how to navigate life after becoming a mom. And so we just kind of go with the flow or go with what everybody tells us. And that doesn't always work for us. And, it causes people to really have these breakdowns and these, unknown issues because they're doing what everybody say that they should be doing, not really tuning into themselves. And if we begin to only identify ourselves as moms or as wives or, as this person with all these roles and duties, but, it's good after you have a kid or children or a family to kind of identify like who you are. Because, if not, you'll definitely get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, so can you share a little bit about what your journey has been as a mom, and anything around losing your identity after becoming a mom?
Yeah, so well, when I became a mom, my first kid, he was planned, and so after having him, we're kind of in the area where we don't have no friends, no family. So I took motherhood very seriously, and I went very into so much into just taking care of my kid and really really focusing on him. And then soon after that, I got pregnant again. And that one was very much unplanned. And so I kind of just, I really honed into basing my life off of routine and, things that kind of helped me because I knew I wouldn't have these breaks. And I just kind of got lost in really taking care of my kids, trying to stay on top of things that I lost myself. I really didn't have an identity, so to say. I was just these kids' mom. And so that kind of was the thing for like the first 2 years of having 2 kids. And it wasn't until maybe almost last year that I just kind of after someone was telling me like, I look tired. Which, it's sort of sad because I was a mom of two under two, and like I said, no breaks, it's just myself and it's just my spouse. So it was hard to get those breaks that I needed. It was hard to, try to uh create a life that I wanted. And so someone one day told me that I looked tired. And from that, it just kind of hit me. And I'm like, I know I feel tired, but I didn't want to look tired. And so that just kind of put me on this quest to be like, who am I? What do I want? How can I make my life? How can I rediscover the things that I like and want, and in turn take care of myself so that I can better take care of my kids? Because me just taking care of the kids, it wasn't working because my life was just so involved and wrapped up into them. It was like if anything happened to them, where would I be? Who would I be? Then, my spouse, he was also, needed and wanting attention. And it was just so much, and I was being pulled from every which way. And so I just kind of had to get into my own self, like, who are you? And I had to take care of me. And then from me taking care of me, identifying who I am, what I want, then that allowed me to then kind of be able to pour into everyone else around me.
Yes. Oh, I love that because we do want to give ourselves to our kids. We do want to like nurture and take care of them. But if we're not taking care of ourselves, if we haven't, connected with ourselves, it's really hard to do that.
Yeah, and it's so hard to connect with yourself because you have all these outlets telling you what you should do, how you should do it, when you should do it, that you don't really even take the time to think about, okay, well, is that what I want? Is that what I like? Like, is that what I even need? Because half of the stuff that people tell you, it's not even relevant to you or your lifestyle. So, we get so hung up on what everybody says because it's a popular saying, like everybody tells us, or the world tells us what to think instead of how to think. And with that being said, it's just almost it's second nature for us just to go along with what everybody's saying because we want to fit in, or we want to seem like, we're doing what we're supposed to, but that's not necessarily the right track for everybody. And I encourage anybody, if you're stuck, if you're feeling sad, depressed, unsure of yourself, take that time to really hone into like what makes you happy. What's the things that you need in order to feel better about yourself, for yourself. And then once you start to do that and identify these things, it just all kind of start working together so that you can create an identity. Because yes, you are a mom. Yes, you are a wife. Yes, you are, whatever your career is, but you're also you. And so there's things like hobbies, there's things like, interests that you partake in. And it may not look the same as it did before you were a mom, before you were a wife, before you were in your career. However, you have to take the time to rediscover yourself. It's almost like going to therapy. Whenever you go to therapy, you have to have the intentions to work. So finding those things that you like, it's gonna take you finding things that you don't like. You know what I'm saying? So, it takes time to find and discover that. So when people say give yourself grace, it's literally because you have to, because it's not going to come overnight. Even the ability or the need to try to find it, you may not even find that you want to take the time to do it, but it's something that you have to do, or else you'll just be kind of stuck in the rut and doing the same thing over and over and over, and you're just in an unhappy state.
Yes. And I love the distinction between, we're told what to think, but we're not taught how to think. And that's so
Yeah.
important. Yeah. And I love that you shared at the beginning that there's more openness and talk about like what's going on for us as moms, as women, as we go through this transition, that it's becoming more of a conversation that we're having. So you're not alone and that it's okay
Yeah.
to explore. Yeah.
So there's this like, and it's not a distinct community, but there's this community of moms who, whenever they're creating content, they call it relatable content, because not everybody life looks like what Instagram portrays or what Facebook or YouTube portrays. Like there's this group of people who are just normal, who have everyday normal lives. It may not be aesthetically pleasing, but there's these women who just want to see people look like them whenever they're creating this content. And so although some may look, glamorous, some may look mid-level, some may look lower or whatever, but the thing is finding those people who look like you and who have these lives like you, so that not that you can compare, but so that you can know that, there's people who live like you, who have the same issues as you, and you don't have to feel so bad about yourself for not having it together, because no one has it together.
Because yeah, so it is important to be mindful of like what accounts you're following, who you're surrounding yourself with, the messages that you're bringing in. As a mom, like even if you didn't have a business, you're probably only putting you might not be putting like all of the hard moments of your day on social media, right? So it's going to be these snapshots of your cute kids and everything that you want to share.
There's going to be some crying, some happy, some complaining about their kids, some complaining about their spouses. That's not all their life, but that's what they choose to share at that moment.
Yeah, I love that. So part of this journey is taking that time, creating that space, asking for the support so that you can connect with yourself, so you can try these things to find out what it is that brings you joy and lights you up, fills your cup. But most moms, we experience mom guilt in one form or another, right? Especially around doing things for ourselves.
Yes.
So how can we navigate mom guilt? What tips do you have for us there?
The best way to navigate mom guilt really is to do the best that you can, because as a mom, you're not going to get everything right. And I think that's the thing that we have to connect with, is knowing that no matter how great you try to be, no matter how much of a superwoman you try to be, you're just not going to get everything right. And all you can really do is try your best. Once you have your kids' safety, once you have their basic needs met, outside of that, you have to be able to pour into yourself. And the best that you can do really is do what's good for you. And then the people around you are going to be able to feel it. Your kids are going to be able to feel it. Your kids are going to be able to see it. And it's going to be something that you want to be able to teach your kids to do for themselves as well. So mom guilt is something that is very real, but it's something that you really have to when you're struggling with it, you have to continue to create a goal and to be able to plan things out. And I think that once you start to plan it, and once you start to be able to recognize, like, okay, this is going to be an issue for me, like me not being able to spend time with my kids. Okay, so now that we know that that's the issue, how do we solve that issue? You start to put things into place so that you can start to also make sure that it doesn't go under the wayside. And then you may not feel as guilty. And then it just becomes a way of life.
Yeah, for sure. And like you're saying, when you're taking care, you're not neglecting your kids in taking care of yourself. I think that's a misconception we have about self-care, is that it's this or that, but it's both and, because when we do take care of ourselves, we have so much more to pour into our kids, right? To be able to support them emotionally, to be there for them and be present with whatever we're doing with them.
Right, because if you're not feeling your best, how could you even give the best advice, or how could you give the best support to your kid? Like, I can't fully support my kid and be like, yeah, be all that you can be, and you're going to be this confident, strong kid, and I'm not in return showing them what that looks like. Like, you have to model that for your kid. And if your everyday life reflects the opposite of it, what do you think they're going to pick up on first? The fact that, you just pushed them and told them that they could do this and do that, and you couldn't do it for yourself. And that's why a lot of times people live vicariously through their kids, because it's something that they wanted to do, and they didn't have the confidence, or they didn't have the willpower or the tenacity to go ahead and get it. I mean, we have to really come to the grips with learning to fail. And that's something that I've always struggled with, not wanting to fail. But when you realize it's a part of the process, then you really get better at accepting that, you're not going to be perfect. And your life don't have to look like everybody else's life. And that's why a lot of times we feel guilty too, because we're comparing our life to that person. Like, oh, they was able to give their kids this, why I can't do that for my kid? Well, comparison is the thief of joy. And every time we do that, that's going to put more guilt on us than the things that we actually focus on in order to give them, this better life. And that's another tip. Stop looking at everybody else's life and focus on your goals and what your desire is for your kids and your family.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Create a vision. That's what I like to say. Like, if you don't have a vision, like I have a vision for my kids, but I also have a vision for myself. And in doing that, I know that my kids are going to reap the benefit just from me doing it for myself.
Yeah, that's so powerful. I love that. Okay, so if there's a mom listening and she's like, okay, I want to do this. I want to, reconnect with myself, find my identity after becoming a mom, where should she start? What's the first thing she should do?
The first thing that I recommend you do is kind of create some type of schedule that gives you a realistic expectation of what your day to day looks like. Once you assess your day to day, then try to start implementing, like, what do you need in order for you to feel happy? What do you need in order for you to feel rested? What do you need in order for you to feel connected to something, someone, or your inner self, I should say? What do you need? Start to identify those things, and sometime in order to identify it, you're going to have to go through, 2, 3, 4 things. There's a lot of recommendations on what these things, hobbies, and interests could be. But those really aren't, those are like the external things, right? Like combing your hair, taking a bath, like those are things we're supposed to do anyway. But when we say self-care, we're really talking about like that deep down within, like the connection with yourself that's going to give you internal happiness, peace, and joy. So like what kind of thing feeds your soul? Then once you start to explore and do things, and whenever you get these good feelings about yourself and about life, start to do that more. So you're going to have this schedule then that you start to be able to put it in practice on a daily basis. And when you organize your life, your thoughts, and the world around you, then you'll be able to really find that you can put those pieces of the things that make you feel good into your day on a daily basis, or at least on a weekly basis, so where you're not forgetting about it. Because yeah, we need this time to take baths and read books or whatever. But if that's not the real internal things that's going to bring you internal peace, then you need to keep looking and keep searching. And it's going to take a while. Keep connecting with moms who've already found it. The secret is in trying. Start by doing things alone. Sometimes we're so afraid to do things alone that we always we find security blankets and the safety net into other things and other people. But when you start to spend that time alone, then you can kind of hear your inner self, your inner thoughts, and then it'll start to fuel you and kind of start to kind of guide you and show you what it is that you're going, what it's going to take in order to start to give you that fulfillment. Because we have to realize and remember that once our kids become of age, they're not going to be there. They're going to go about their married life, and that's the point. That's the point of raising successful kids, so that they can then get out into the world and experience it. So, and you don't have to wait till your kid's 18th, 21st, or 25th birthday to do it.
I love that so much. Yes, I so agree. The self-care is that deeper piece, that really connecting with yourself. And I love that you said, try to spend time alone, because so much clarity comes and so much we're able to hear what's going on within us, right? We were talking about all the messages that we get from the outside world. And when we take that time for quietness and stillness with ourselves, we can hear what's actually true for us, what we actually need, what would be
right
for our kids. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's oftentimes people see that in meditation. You're not meditating, just so that you don't have noise. You're really meditating for a deeper connection spiritually, a deeper connection within yourself, so that you can kind of tune out everything and kind of realign yourself with whatever it is that is internal to you and for you. It's on paper and people highly recommend it, but it's recommended for that reason, for a internal connection.
Yes, absolutely. Do you feel overwhelmed and anxious? Do you wish you could stop losing your temper with your kids and just have more fun as a mom? Do you crave finding more time to do the things you love without feeling guilty? I get it, Mama. I've been there. That's why I created the Vibrant Mom Life membership. Imagine what life would look like if you could finally get out of survival mode consistently find time for yourself, and be the calm, present mom you've always wanted to be. This membership will help you step out of anxiety and overwhelm and help you find time for yourself without the guilt. Inside Vibrant Mom Life, you'll find monthly themes that will help you shift your mindset, get out of survival mode, and find time for the things you love, all while being the mom you want to be. Plus, you'll find guided meditations and yoga practices that will help you effortlessly infuse your days with self-care. And I know that some days are harder than others, so you'll even find a library of short and sweet guided affirmations so you can simply press play and reconnect with your inner calm in just minutes. Join Vibrant Mom Life today by going to soulcaremom.com/membership so you can stop running on empty and truly enjoy mom life. I can't wait to welcome you inside, Mama. So I love all of this. What are your favorite self-care practices? What do you like to do?
So I do sit in stillness a lot because I'm home. My kids do go to daycare, so I'm home alone a lot of times. So I take those moments really to kind of to connect with myself because I have a scattered brain, and so I know that a lot of times come from me doing this, that, and always moving. But taking the time really to kind of meditate on my thoughts and where my goals and and spiritually like who I am and where my life is headed and making sure that I'm aligned, and connected to my purpose. Because right now, that's my whole entire goal is to find my purpose because that's going to be connected to my identity. That's who I am, and how I'm meant to serve and provide services to people. And then another thing that I like to do oftentimes is I like to read. So like things that's gonna feed me intellectually, just on my mindset. Like redeveloping my mind is gonna always be something. Like I really started tuning in maybe about almost 3 years ago when I had my son, like really shifted my mindset on a mindset of like looking at things totally different, like than I used to, and trying to have some type of motivation to motivate myself and to motivate others. So reading things that's gonna kind of lead me into the direction that I feel like that's giving me purpose.
Yes, that's so important. Yeah, just that making sure we're surrounding ourselves with those empowering messages for ourselves and looking at our perspectives and how do we want to look at life, and knowing that we can change how we see the world and what we tell ourselves and our beliefs, and that is so powerful, and I love that you're doing that for other moms. Before we wrap up, I'd like to ask a quick favor. This is an independent podcast. It's produced, recorded, and marketed by me, so I would love your help. Please share this podcast with your friends. Post about it on social media. Tell your girlfriends over lunch. Share about it with the moms at the park or at your next PTA meeting or homeschool co-op meetup. And please take a moment to subscribe and to leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening. It will help more moms find and benefit from this work, and it will make my heart so happy. Okay, so I always love to ask, because every guest has been on such an incredible journey. There have been ups and downs and twists and turns, right? And there's so much wisdom that we learn along the way. If you could go back in time and share a message with yourself, what would you tell her?
There's so many messages. I promise you that there's so many messages. Really, it's just gonna work out. No matter, don't think about tomorrow. Like really focus on the now because you create so much anxiety for yourself. Like even sometimes with me thinking about like, well, will my kids be successful? What will they be doing? Da, 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 like all these, like, it creates so much anxiety that really it kind of hinders your now moment. You know what I'm saying? And because you're focused on the tomorrows and the what ifs, and it's eventually gonna really work itself out.
Yes. Oh, that is so true. When we're in our heads and we're thinking about everything else, it creates this feeling of anxiety and it keeps us from actually enjoying life, right? That's happening right
Yes.
now. Yeah,
Yes.
I love that. Well, this was so wonderful. Thank you for sharing all of your wisdom. Thank you for sharing your journey and your tips.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share. And really and truly, your life is not going to start until you give yourself permission to
Hmm,
enjoy it.
that's powerful. Yeah. And thank you so much for sharing all of this. And will you let us know where we can connect with you online? Where can we find you?
Yeah, so I'm online at Taj, that's TAJTHINGS Taj Things. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and also TajThings.com. And that's TAJTHINGS. And on my blog, you'll find like those articles and like kind of resources for moms.
I love it. Thank you. I will share those in the show notes so everybody can find you. And again, thank you so much for being here and for sharing everything with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hi, love. This is just a reminder that Soul Care Mom offers information that's shared with love and intended for educational and inspirational purposes only. You should not rely on this information as a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you have any concerns or questions about your health, you should always consult with a trusted healthcare provider. Thank you for being here, and know that I am sending you so much love. Thanks for joining me, Mama. I'm over here smiling from ear to ear and giving you a big virtual hug. I love spending this time with you. You are amazing for showing up and carving out this space to nourish your soul. If you are loving the Soul Care Mom podcast, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. And if you are ready to start your mornings feeling calm and energized, get the Kickstart Your Calm Morning Guide, a self-care morning ritual for moms, as a free gift when you join the Soul Care Mom community. Head over to soulcaremom.com/kickstart and enter your email address to get your free gift and start feeling like a calm mom today. Sending you so much love, Mama.